Right then everyone, let's get into the Bitcoin price, because what is happening with Bitcoin? Well, exactly what we said would happen. It got rejected, it's going through. Some people are saying it's pumping, but I think that's BS. So let's have a look at the Bitcoin price action. Let's have a look at the news. If you want to know what's happening with Bitcoin, because the volatility has been up, down, left, right, any which way but lose over the past 6 weeks, and we want to know what the heck is going on with the Bitcoin price. So slap a like, hit that subscribe, tickle that bell notification, and let's get So this is going to be a short video today because I don't think Bitcoin is doing anything other than what we predicted it would do yesterday, and that's get rejected at a key kind of moving average level and still trade in this descending triangle. Now, just before I shoot into this chart, everything I say in this video is not financial advice. You know the drill. I'm not a financial advisor. This bad boy here is just for your educational purposes only. And also, I'm here to stop all the FOMO and the FUD, because you will have seen people saying Bitcoin's pumping. We'll show you the 30-second chart, the 1-minute chart. We'll see something pump up that's probably about 2 bars long and it would have made you 14 pence and not even enough for a bag of chips. So let's jump into the Bitcoin price chart now. Bitcoin got rejected at the 50-day moving average, as we said it might do yesterday. We said that, you know, it's got to break through these strong kind of resistances here and even a descending triangle. Well, it shot up to the upside. It had its little pump and dump, but this is the 4-hour chart, by the way. Had its little pump and dump, but you know, it's, for me, it's not really doing anything. Bitcoin's been trading like this for 6 weeks, as we said in this channel, this boring 10k channel, from 31 to 41, and we warned everyone yesterday not to believe the hype, the FUD, the FOMO, and just be cautious. And exactly what happened was it got rejected at the 50-day moving average, as you can see here, and it shot to the downside. Now, will we see more shoot to the downside? Well, I think in the next few days, especially towards the end of the week, with the CME gap closed now, I think Bitcoin will start making a break. Now, will it break to the downside? Will it break to the upside? Now, a lot of people will tell you they can predict this with the Fibonacci retracements, the swing high, swing low, swing all around like a Tarzan, whatever it is. But let's stick to real. Let's get crypto real here. And that is, no analysis and no chart at the moment can really tell you which way Bitcoin's going to go. But if we bring in the news factors, if we bring in what the technical analysis is saying, the probability and the likely is that Bitcoin could test this descending triangle and get rejected and maybe come down and test these new levels again. And this, remember we said this new kind of $33,000 was the new support now. Now this is still bullish for Bitcoin, you know, it's still moving up. We're sort of like leaving this 31,000 kind of support area in the dust, and we're starting to make new ways back up towards this 35,000. Well, 36 we really need to break out of if we want to start climbing to that all important kind of 40,000 area. But let's just calm our little monkeys down a minute and just see. We needed a higher high. We got the higher high here and we got the higher low here. We needed a higher high here, but Bitcoin failed to make that. Now we're coming into lower highs. So, you know, a lower high here and a lower high here. Now, this doesn't mean that Bitcoin's doom and gloomed. Of course it's not, because it's just playing out exactly as a boring, stalled kind of Bitcoin would, and that's getting rejected at key support resistant areas and not being able to break through them. But when it gets down to here and Bitcoin trades sideways a little bit, this is where it's going to get interesting. Because if you remember, we said it's going to consolidate, and then break. And with Bitcoin being higher, and it's 33,900, so we're looking around about the price actions here at the minute. It's likelihood that it's going to break a little bit to the upside, and we could the upside, and we could retest this 36,000 mark. That is what I'm looking forward for it to do, and that's what I'm hoping Bitcoin's going to do, because we need to smash through this 50-day moving average like we did here, and it was a fake out. We dropped back down, but we tested it once, we tested it twice, we tested it 3 times. We've not come up to test it 4 times, but hopefully around here we'll test it 4 times and we'll break to the upside. Now, I'm not going to go down to the 1 minute because I think that's just a waste of your time, my time, and that's not what this channel is about. We go down to the 5 minute, we can see this is where people are getting all euphoric on Bitcoin. They were saying, yeah, you know, this is today. And around about 5 o'clock this morning, we had a pump, we got out this triangle, we went in, and then bang, straight back down. It dropped quicker than it went up. And then it's just been consolidating sideways. We go on to the 1 hour chart, and we can see here, we're just continuing these little fake outs, but we've had it 1, we've had 2, we've had 3. So surely when the 4th one comes, we should be seeing Bitcoin break to the outside. Now, people that are into the patterns, you can see there might be kind of like a head and shoulders pattern forming here, which is, you know, normally breaks to the downside. So we just have to be careful of that. If we pop a little line in, we could be seeing this kind of area of head and shoulders happen, you know, shoulder, head, form a shoulder here, and we could break down and test this kind of 33,000 mark, and that is a possibility. But if we don't complete this second shoulder, and we're going to do the analysis tomorrow as well, like we said we'd do it today, if we don't complete the second shoulder and Bitcoin starts having a bounce here where it's supporting at the moment and starts shooting to the upside a little bit, then we could see it. But if you have a look at the price here, it dropped here when it was oversold. We had the red button indicator, it played out nicely. We had ultra volume. You see here, volume, whether this was the institutions or what, but this is big players money here. So we had a lot of volume come in on the Bitcoin price action, and it played to the downside. So hopefully Bitcoin either stays as it is, goes sideways and then grinds up slowly, or we test again this descending triangle and we bounce up to the 35,000 mark, and that would play out nicely for Bitcoin to turn this area here. So if I just quickly grab a line, we'll delete this after because we don't want to get too bogged down with lines in the charts. But you see this line here, this is, you see here, bang, 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 like a machine gun on the resistance there, machine gun on the resistance there. We need to turn this into support to crack out here, and we will be sort of on the way up to start putting into this higher highs here. And then that's how Bitcoin's gonna be. When you want to see these notifications come out saying Bitcoin's bullish, super urgent, let's go, that's where you want to see price action up here. You don't want to see Bitcoin's bullish, super urgent. You come back in and all you're seeing is a sea of red. I see these blue candles are just red candles, by the way. The reason I do white and blue is psychological, like reasons for when I trade, you know, because red means danger normally, whereas blue is just blue. But yeah, you just see a sea of downturn, you know what I mean, a volume down. So, you know, on Crypto Ripto, you know, to the community, we don't want to con people on here. We don't want to say stuff's happening in the charts and it's not. Like we said before, we're not getting into all this Fibonacci retracements, because obviously we could put it up here and we could even put it as to this high, and you can see there's absolutely nothing that tells you in there what it didn't hit here, didn't hit here. If people say they want to move it to a place where they could probably get a bit more of a reading out of it, and they could say that it bounced here, it bounced at the 0.2, but then what would you class that? Yeah, probably at the 0.3. The golden pocket here really is where this second kind of confirmation rejection got at the 0.5. So yeah, that to be honest, yeah, the Fibonacci has played out a little bit here, to see where the rejections come. I mean, if you're looking at that, yeah, you could say that the Fibonacci's played out there, but why would you want to go on that Fibonacci when you can just go on this moving average here? That's on the 1 hour as well, and we can see on the moving average on the 4 hour, this played out nicely for us to determine where it was going to sort of like close, get rejected. Would it break out here? For this to break out, it need to close outside of this descending wedge and confirmation, and then do a bounce, and it never did that. So sorry to be the bearer of bad news, but if you have a look at this chart as a whole, Bitcoin, this big nice W here, which this is what I'm saying about trading patterns, this big nice W here, you would have thought, man, look at the size of that W, bam, and that should have gone to the upside, but it swung in here, and then people saying, oh, look at that, that's a cup, that's a hand, that's an handle, cup and handle, boom, we're off to the moon, and cup and handle, and we literally didn't get out the starting blocks. Now, Ethereum, I did say I'd do this quick. Ethereum was a bit more predictable. We had this little rise here. It didn't really do much up there. I thought it would have kept its key kind of support, the resistance turning support of 2260, but it didn't. It came down and bounced nicely off this, again, the 50-day moving average. So you can see Ethereum and Bitcoin are using these moving averages as absolute support and resistances. You see here it nearly closed to the exact nearly here, and it's also using it as support again here. And this is the 200-day moving average, and the 50-day, you can see the wick went down here, bounced off that, and shot back up. So now what we need is, because let me just show you this quickly. This is a downtrend. So the 50 days crossed the 200 and it's been in a massive downtrend. But what we're seeing now is the average come closer and closer to 50, come closer to the 200. We need a cross there for it to turn into a bit of a bullish uptrend. Ethereum is putting in higher highs and higher lows, but we need this to start pumping up now to put in another higher high and higher low, and then, and just only then, you can be a little bit more excited on Ethereum than we have been in the past. So if you've digested all of that bad boy in, there's simple, no BS technical analysis to say where Bitcoin's going. We don't need all these cool charts and stuff like this. I will show you the Wyckoff quickly, because we know we love the Wyckoff here. Again, like we said yesterday, it's still in the capitulation phase, and it is not moved out of that perfectly line across, and it's still making this big phase D, a big extendable. So again, people that are telling you the Wyckoff stuff, you can look at this, you can see it with your own eyes, just believe what you see, and you can see there's no spring there, there's no breakout, there's no drop down, we're just still in the capitulation, or if you don't know what that means, it's just a consolidation with people where the market's lost interest a little bit and there's no real volume or institutions buying in, and it's going sideways. So now quickly, because I've kept you long enough from your busy schedule or life, we'll just jump into the Bitcoin and news. And Bitcoin targets 36k, key Wyckoff level with altcoin sector grind up heavier. Conditions are conspiring to deliver fresh strength across altcoins, which have suffered, obviously, as we know, since the drop. Now, that is remained to be seen. I mean, that could just be FUD, a bit of FOMO, FUD news, as it says here as well. The future contracts show pro investors lack confidence. So 1 minute they're saying that Bitcoin's bullish, now they're saying that people lack confidence in it. Then when they're saying turning bullish, institutions and net buyers of crypto for the first time in 5 weeks. So all of a sudden, the Bitcoin future contracts show pro investors are lacking confidence, but the institutions, which is the pro investors, have turned bullish for the first time in 5 weeks. You can understand why we're getting confused here, everyone, but you know, news is news, and this is what we read. So there's no real big bad news for the bears. There's no real big positive news for the bulls. We're going to finish this video on the fear and greed, because this is important as well. Bit more of a live, and it says the same thing. Okay, fair enough. So the fear and greed is 20 now, and yesterday it was 29. That's better. This one obviously is a bit more updated, so uploaded it to my website, so I think it should be updated. So yeah, so now the fear is 20, yesterday it was 29, so we're slipping back a little bit. Not ideal, but nothing to really rave home about. Bitcoin still being Bitcoin. So just to cap off, Bitcoin's still trading in that channel, but it's consolidating down nicely, and it's going to test the top of the right descending wedge. So that in theory should make it break past the 50-day moving average and break out of this descending triangle to the upside. That is what the indicators are saying, but we know, we're smart and we're smart traders on this channel, that because that resistance is quite strong on a 50-day moving average, it could get a rejection and shoot back down and retest the 33,000 level. In the news, the bears are being the bears, the bulls are being bulls. The news is saying that the bears are bullish and the bulls are bearish, which is confusing as hell. So at the moment, no news is good news. And as always on this channel, as I'll say, is trade smart, trade safe, and don't get rich.